My uncle and aunt, they're about to celebrate their 40th anniversary. They've been married for 40 years. And I had to look back and think like, dang, I really don't. I'm a millennial. I feel like the people of my generation, I feel like relationships don't last that long. Marriages don't last that long when it comes to millennials and the generation after me. I feel like relationships don't last anymore because you could be in a relationship, you can be doing the best you can to make this relationship work, but the other person feels like they can do better. If you go through a minor setback in life, instead of working through it with you, they're planning their exit. They're looking for a way out. When people go on these dates, a lot of men are judged based on what they do for a living, how much they make. If they're not making enough money, most women feel that these men are not worthy of a relationship. They're not worthy of being somebody's husband. In the dating market, a man's value is based on how much money he makes. That's where we're at in 2025. And it's going to get worse in 2026. I just think relationships, they just don't last that long anymore. People don't want to put in the work. They love the idea of a relationship, to take pictures on Instagram and show off and make it seem like they got this perfect relationship or marriage. But when it comes to really doing the work and making that relationship last, and you guys are a team, But most people get into relationships, they don't want to act as a team. They're in a relationship for self. Dating now is transactional. Relationships are transactional now. It's all about what can I get from this person? How can me being with this person make my life easier? The dating market is so bad, especially with the economy. You have women wanting to get into relationships just to split bills with the man because they're tired of paying bills by themselves. I don't think that's a good reason to get into a relationship. That's not real love. And it's really sad because I don't think most men are going to get that unconditional love from a woman, Because 9 out of 10, if a man loses his job, if he's going through a minor setback in life, most women will lose respect for that man because he lost money. He was only valuable to this woman because he had money, and that's it. Relationships don't last anymore because everyone thinks they can do better. When you go on a date with someone, when you're trying to take the time to get to know someone, but they're looking at you, nitpicking at every little thing you do, complaining, talking about you don't meet my standards. This guy isn't perfect enough. He's not like my ex. You keep on comparing this person. If they make one mistake, if they do something wrong, you're quick to just block them and move on to the next. It's really hard to find a connection because, one, on the dating apps, women have the upper hand. Women get flooded with all these messages and likes, and for a woman to go through each and every one of these messages, how is she able to, how can she really take time to really find the best option? Relationships don't last anymore. You got a lot of guys out here who've been burnt, who've been hurt in relationships. They've been taken advantage of. They've been taken for granted. And some of them are so hurt that they don't trust women anymore. They rather just be single, stack their money, and just be by themselves. Live a bachelor lifestyle. But I was on that type of energy recently, thinking that, I don't need nobody. I could just do this by myself. I'd rather just be solo dolo. But sometimes, man, I'm 33 years old, man. I'm single, no kids. And it gets to me sometimes, man. I think dang, I may not have a family of my own. I may not find the one. Because one, it's so hard to find a a good woman. It's so hard to find a connection. It's so hard to find someone who will become your best friend. And that's going to be the reality for most men. If they can't find a decent partner, they're just going to be by themselves. And I don't know, man. I don't know if being alone for so long is healthy. I've been alone for a while. I'm focused on myself. But there are times when I think like, dang, I may not find the right person. I may not find the one because I'm getting older, man. 33 years old. How did we get here? Where you have both men and women who are just alone and rather just be by themselves. Everyone is so burnt out with dating. Everybody's got dating fatigue. How do we get here? Because it sucks. Even the single people who are working these jobs, you have people who are working mad hours. They're doing more than 9 to 5. They're doing 9 to 7. You have people who are burnt out from work. They have no work-life balance. And when they get home, all they want to do is just knock out and rest. They don't even have time to go to the gym, eat healthy. They just knock out and do the same thing over and over again. Because with inflation, the economy is crap. Everything's going up in prices. You're working a lot just to survive, And when you're working so much and you don't even have time for yourself, how do you even have time to really date when you are so busy? That's where some people are at as well. They don't have time to date. They don't have time to really get to know somebody. And also, when a man is not where he needs to be financially, if he's not, I know there are a lot of men out here who feel like if they're not making close to 6 figures or over, they don't even feel like dating because they feel like they're not ready. They feel like they're not in a good position to date right now because they all know how a man's value is based on how much money he makes when it comes to dating. That's how women have made it. That's how women have made it seem for men. How much money do you make? Where you work? A lot of men are being judged by where they work. These guys, they may work a not so fancy job, but they're able to pay their bills. They're able to take care of themselves. But still, that's an issue for some women. If you're not a finance bro, if you're not in tech, some women are like that. And that leaves the average guy to be single, alone. And that leaves also other women to be single and alone because they have these standards and they're not going to settle for no one. And there's nothing wrong with that. You are entitled to your standards, but I just think that we're all going to end up being alone because we all can't come together. I asked that question, like, how did we get here? How did we get here? We got here because I feel like due to social media and dating apps, we all feel like we have all these available options. And I've been guilty of that as well. I'll match with someone on an app, and if the conversation is whack, I'll just unmatch it and go to the next one, Relationships don't last anymore. You have couples out here who can't even last a year because they're so impatient. They don't want to do the work. Whenever there's something rough going on in the relationship, they want to just throw in the towel and give up instead of working on it. You've got to want this relationship. You have to want to grow and work on it with your partner. And I don't think most people are on that type of time right now. They're all for self. How is this relationship going to benefit me? If it's not benefiting me no more, I don't need him. I could just go back onto the dating app and try to find the best possible option I can find. And a lot of men I feel like a lot of men have just thrown the towel. They've given up on dating. A lot of men have been putting themselves out there trying to find a decent partner, and they keep on coming up short. These women say there's a male loneliness epidemic. There's a female loneliness epidemic as well. For women, all your options have dried up. So you download, re-download all these dating apps trying to find more people, but I'm pretty sure you probably look past Mr. Right. But you look past this man because he probably wasn't making six figures. He probably wasn't as tall as you would like him to be, but this guy had good character. He was a hustler. He had a great work ethic. He was not lazy. But you found something wrong with this dude. Seeing my aunt and uncle, seeing how they were married for over 40 years. For 40 years they were married. That is not going to be the reality for millennials. It's not. I hope couples can last that long, but for 40 years, man, I just don't see that. All the couples I knew back in the day who were, I guess, couple goals and couples I saw, and I'm like, man, that's how a couple should be. They're not together no more. Something happens, man. Something happens. It's like you could be doing so well with a woman. You could be doing so well in a relationship, and one minor setback just changes the whole field. It changes everything. Women feel like they just don't want to bank on potential. Not everybody is going to be the perfect versions of themselves. We are all a work in progress. We all are not perfect. We all have flaws. But it seems like some women just want the perfect partner. And that's not a reality. That is not reality. Relationships don't last anymore because we all give up too soon. We all give up too quick. Our patience is this slow to really get to know people. How the hell did we get here? You got a lot of people who are just burnt out with dating as well. You have people who've been on dating apps for years and still they can't find a decent partner. This woman did a video on TikTok. She said she went on 30 first dates and none of them were a match. How do you go on 30 first dates and you still can't find a decent partner? They did a poll on Twitter. It said, they asked the women, would you get with a man you are not physically attracted to, that you do not love, but he's rich? Or would you want to be with a guy you are physically attracted to, you are in love, but he is not rich? They all chose they would want to be with a guy who's ugly, they're not attracted to, but he's rich, he has money. 80% of women said that. That's where we are at when it comes to dating, man. That's where we're at. I don't even think it's going to get better anytime soon. It's going to get worse. If you're in your early 30s like me, 33, sometimes it feels like if you haven't found a decent partner by now, we may not find one in the future. Because in our 30s, we're probably meeting so many people who they have kids from previous relationships. They're dealing with trauma from the past relationships. They're not fully healed. That's going to take time. You're dealing with people who have their guard up. They're not really opening up. They're not really open to really dating and getting to know anybody because they've been hurt too many times in their past relationships. Whew, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's raining in New York. That's why I don't have that much sunlight in my apartment. I wanted to film this episode like this. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about why relationships don't last anymore. Relationships don't last that long anymore. Yeah, that's where I'm at. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Sorry for felt like I was rambling, but this has been on my mind lately about why relationships don't last anymore. So I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is the Trade to Real podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my podcast. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps with the YouTube channel. So let me know what you guys think. And y'all have a blessed day.